Guys, how you doing? My name is Max Kelly, and if you're new to the channel, then you're probably used to seeing me with a camera on my head looking that way. Well, today the camera is going to be on me, and the reason why is this Sunday we have got a 10K, and it's quite a serious race, and I feel like I am in the shape of my life. Now, the only real reason why I can say I'm in the shape of my life is because my recent running times have reflected that. Now, today we're going to do something to try and prove that in a different way. So we are going to head down to the Pentons Performance Therapy Center, and we're going to get a blood lactate test. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to better understand my body, and the results I'm hopefully going to get today are going to help me with my training. I'm going to leave the full link to Pentons Performance Therapy in the description down below, along with their social media. These guys are amazing, and if you want to get some really in-depth analysis about your own running performance, then I really do recommend seeing these guys. Anyway, I'm not even going to begin to explain what the test's about. I'm going to leave that to Henry and the team. Anyway, without further ado, let's head down there and let's get this test started.
All right, today, Max, we're going to be taking you through a lactate threshold assessment. That's going to consist of stages, being 3.5-minute stages, increasing in speed as you go up the stages. The test is going to run from a really easy pace and then finish at something moderately hard. Lactate threshold testing is great as it means we don't have to go to max. It's a sub-maximal test. After every stage, we're going to take a blood lactate sample, and that will feed into the data on the computer in the analysis, and that will give you both LT1 and LT2 and your training zones off the back of it. So LT1 and LT2 are the only two physiological markers in terms of zones. LT1 and LT2 are two definitive points. LT1 is what's described as the first increase in blood lactate levels from baseline, and this typically represents the top end of zone 2. And then LT2 is typically represents sort of threshold, pace you might be able to sustain for an hour or there or thereabouts.
So I'm on the treadmill here for 3.5 minutes per go, and at the end of those 3.5 minutes I jump off, I have my blood taken, which helps with the lactate reading, and I'd also give my heart rate as well. I'd then jump back on the treadmill, and each time I jump back on the treadmill the pace was increased by 1 kilometer an hour, and this happened 9 separate times. So we started at 12 kilometers an hour for our first rep, and that is 5 minutes per kilometer, and each time the increase of 1 kilometer an hour made it harder and harder, and by the end of it I finished on 20 kilometers an hour, and that is 3 minutes per kilometer. Now that rep is coming up shortly, but before I put it on screen I'm gonna tell you why exactly a blood lactate test will help you with your running. Now, blood lactate tests allows you to set really accurate training zones, and instead of guessing by pace or by heart rate alone, the lactate blood test gives physiological confirmation of your effort level. So it really helps prevent training too hard on those easier days, and it makes hard workouts more targeted and effective. And like I mentioned at the start of this video, I feel like I'm in the shape of my life, and now I've got a physiological way of measuring that, not just by the running times. I can track fitness changes over time, so by repeating this test every few months, it can show whether your threshold pace is improving, which will hopefully confirm your training plan is working. All right, let's jump into that very last rep, that 3 minute per kilometer pace.
Coming into the last 30 seconds. Yep.
What's that heart rate? 189.
189.
Yeah. Spicy.
Yeah, last five seconds, Max. When you're ready, you can jump off to the side.
Well, why not? We go one more, Henry, on that.
I don't think so, no.
You don't think so?
Out of 10, what would you say that was? The 20?
8.
Hey, it's good.
Yeah, felt
it's really
control,
good.
but control being my...
God, I'm under pressure now. As a brief overview of the results, as you can see on the screen here, we've got the plot of lactate in millimoles per litre against your pace in kilometres per hour that you were running on the treadmill. As we can see from the data, LT1, which is the first rise in blood lactate above baseline levels, is coming in around the 16.5 to 17 kilometres per hour. And this correlates to roughly the pace you could hold for a marathon.
So that's about 340-ish, you say?
335, 340 per kilometre. Yep. And then LT2, which as we discussed earlier is about the pace that you could hold for an hour. So maybe half marathon pace at a push, is coming in about 18.5 kilometres per hour.
Yep.
And really you want to be training just below LT2 a lot of the time for longer intervals, as the cost of training above is a lot higher than training just below.
Appreciate it. No, thanks for today, mate. Appreciate it.
No
Excellent.
problem,
Cheers, everyone, as well. Thank you.
All right, in the house, back in the house. All right, so we're finally back after what was a really special evening tonight, and thanks to everyone again at Penton's Performance Therapy for what was a brilliant evening of testing. And the main thing now is I've got all this information and it's about how I'm going to utilize it in the right way. So I'm going to go away now with my coach and we're going to start to dial in these specific paces into my training. Like I mentioned earlier, and like Henry said as well, it's going to really prescribe those zones. It's going to save me basically working too hard on those hard days, but making sure when I am working easier, I will be working at that easier intensity. And now we've got a physiological measure to actually make sure that I sit within them. Now, you probably noticed during tonight's testing that I was pretty much sweating profusely throughout. To be honest with you, it could have been an awful lot worse. Now, in an indoor environment, it's always gonna be seriously humid and you're gonna sweat loads. And something that I've done quite a lot recently, and it's made quite a big difference with my training, is I've changed up taking just water and I've started to put electrolytes into my training. Now, this is the exact electrolytes that I've been using by Invigorate. Electrolytes are really simple, but really effective. Now, especially on a test like tonight, that fluid retention is going to be so important, especially when you're in that kind of environment when you're going to be sweating loads as it is. Now, if I were just to take plain water, it would trigger the kidneys to flush fluid out, whereas electrolytes act more as a magnet, so they really help to retain those essential fluids. It's also faster absorbing as well. So like, you know, sometimes when you're running and you can feel all that water sat in your stomach and it's gargling around, well, taking electrolytes reduces that and it feels a lot lighter on the stomach. It's also significantly helpful when it comes to reducing the impact of cramp. And I used to cramp quite a lot, and since starting to take the Invigorate electrolytes, my cramping has significantly reduced. I'm not necessarily saying it's all down to it, but it's made a serious difference. Since adding this into my training, I do feel a lot more confident with my hydration. It's something that I've not necessarily got right in the past, but it's made one hell of a difference. Now, let's move on to this Sunday then. This Sunday, I am taking on a very fast 10K, the Speedway 10K. Now, I know this video has already gone live by the time you see this. Now, I don't know what time I'm gonna run. You already do by now, but let's go through a bit of a brief recap then, and let's get through this 10K as fast as we possibly can. All right then, back on the mic in familiar territory. This is Chepstow, Wales and the Speedway 10K, and it wouldn't be a video of mine without some race day commentary. So I'm sorry if you've seen this one already, but I'm gonna put together a very brief highlights package of this race. Now, as you can see from the start of this race, it was very congested, and I've got to say the standard of this one was exceedingly high. Going into this one, my current PB was set at Telford 10K 3 weeks ago, and that was 31:26. So that is the time to beat today. Now, the goal for this one is to get a PB and to go as fast as I possibly can. Now, one thing I would say is keep an eye on my heart rate, which is on the right-hand side of the screen. That one creeps up into the 200s. Now, joining me for company right now is Matthew Reese and Run with Matt, two YouTubers. Shout out to you boys, great running today. This is a 2-lapped course. There's a slow rise in each of those 2 laps, but nothing major. But all in all, it's a pretty quick course, and like I mentioned, with a very quick field. Now, I'm not running this fast in the race, but I've just sped things up a a little bit, and you'll see me getting a little bit of a toe there from my teammate. But now watch out for this chap here in the white vest, nearly takes a tumble. Oh, steady on, caught him though. He was absolutely fine. He's also run 3:59 for a mile, so he's rapid, and I'm now going to let him do all of the work. I'm going to sit in behind him, and hopefully he's going to take me through to a nice shiny PB. Adidas Pro 4s on the feet today, bicarb beforehand, electrolyte mix by Invigorate of course, and next week I will be going all out in a 10-mile race. So my next video on this channel will be a 10-mile flat out. And thank you so much for watching. We are just over 150 subs away from that 10k. As soon as we get there will be a massive video coming. Anyway, you've heard enough from me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you as always in the next one. Goodbye.
No, it's up the hill as well. That's right, Catherine. Oh, just outside there on that. Follow me. No, it's all power. You're running. Love this game, man. Love this game. How's that? Oh, good. Keep you on? Yeah. Oh, well, boys. What you doing? Oh, I don't know. I've got 15, 31, 15. Well done. What about you? Keep saying. Yeah. Maxine! Great way,